Hey y'all, what's up? It's your girl Joy back with another video. I've been up on this uploading game, y'all. So this video is going to be a story time, so sit back, relax, get your popcorn ready. It's probably going to be like a 20-minute, 30-minute video. I've been wanting to do this story time for a very long time because it has taught me a lot of stuff. This is one of those defining moments in my life where I feel like I'm glad it happened because I learned so much from it. And there's a part of this story time that, although it's entertaining and funny, I do want to kind of like let you know what I learned so that you don't go through the same mistakes as I did. And I'm really sorry if I look really bad. I did go on a run, so my hair is a little bit wavy, but I wanted to make a video because I was like, it's wavy. So the story time, if you couldn't tell by the title, this is the time that I was obsessed, and I mean obsessed, with a boy in middle school. I think I was about 12, 13 when this happened, so this was like 7, 8 years ago, almost 10 years ago. Wow. And I don't mean obsessed in the terms, because I know like a lot of like young girls are always like obsessed, like boy crazy. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about unhealthy level of obsession. It was the first and only boy that I've ever been obsessed with. I learned my lesson early on in life, and I didn't know, but years later he was gay. So that's just the story in a nutshell, but I'm gonna go more in depth. So during this time, growing up, I lived with my mom, my sister. My dad was in the picture, but he was in the military, and my parents were separated. They were not together physically, and then years later, after they were physically not together, they were divorced. And so when I was living with my mom and my sister, we were living in San Antonio, Texas. And I would switch schools every year practically, and I never really had a close group of friends because of that. So for my fifth and sixth grade years, I was homeschooled by my mother. Then when 7th grade came around, when the story takes place, my mom decides to enroll me back in public school. So I went to Earl Rudder Middle School in San Antonio, Texas, and I didn't know anybody there. I hadn't been in public school for 2 years, and prior to that I had gone to so many different elementary schools that I didn't really know anyone going into this middle school. So it was my first time in middle school with all those type of changes and stuff. And for some reason, there was this guy. He just like captured my attention like that. Like, I don't even know how it happened, because I thought he was the cutest thing ever. Like, I was like, he has to be mine. I would pray every night to God. I was like, God, please, like, let me marry him. Please let him be my future husband. Please let him like me. And it's just like, it's just crazy to me thinking back how desperate and obsessed I was with this guy. And he was like Hispanic. He had that blonde black hair, that style back in like the 2012, and he always wore like Abercrombie and Fitch, Hollister. He would always dress like really preppy, and like for me, I love preppy style for both men and women, and so I was like really into that. And so I think that's part of what captured my attention. And he always hung out with girls, and I don't know why I didn't see this as a sign of him potentially being gay. I just like I back then, like, I was so naive, and like I just wouldn't know like this telltale signs of a guy being gay. Like, I just wouldn't have known. And I knew that he had dated other girls, and that he quote unquote liked my friend, which, oh my gosh, I gotta tell you about that. I didn't script this, so I might be like all over the place. Anyways, so yeah, I noticed him early on, because at Rudder Middle School, what would happen is he was a grade above me too. I was in 7th grade and he was in 8th grade, so I would just always pray that he would notice me. because I'm just this little kid, and then he's just like almost in high school and stuff. And uh, what happened was 6th graders, 7th graders, and 8th graders had different lunch periods where you would go outside and hang out with your friends after you sit down in the cafeteria and eat. So typically I wouldn't have had the same lunch period as him because I was in a grade below him, but for some reason my gym schedule made me have 8th grade lunch, so I was always with 8th graders, so I'd always be able to like see him and other people. And I hope I'm remembering this correctly because this has been a long time since this happened. I was really traumatized for several years. Oh my gosh, this is such a long story. Anyways, and for some reason, I feel like the reason why I was so obsessed, I feel like, with him is because of just like everything going wrong in my life at the time, you know, and being able to have a crush and crush hard was like a safe spot for me. And at the time I was taking piano lessons, and I had this composition book, and every time I went to piano while my sister and my mom practiced and I was waiting for my turn, I would write things down. I would journal about this dude like literally every day. Like literally every day. I wrote like a whole notebook. I really wish I kept it. I threw that thing away. I wanted to burn it so much like after all of this was over. But I journaled about him every day. I'm not even kidding. It was crazy. I was like that in love with him. But the thing is, me at 13 years old, who thought I was in love with him, me knowing now, that wasn't love. That was like, I don't know even what that was. But I was just like, I thought I was like in love with him, and I just thought that I had to have him. I would tell my friends about this. I would tell them how much I liked this guy, and like how much he was so cute. And y'all, I figured out, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a really good stalker. I'm really good at researching things. So you need me to find somebody, I'll find them for you. And so for some reason I found out that he was like a TA, or he worked in the school library. So because I was like smart and everything, and because like I can get my work done, what I would do is during the time that he was working in the library at school, I had like Texas history. And because I was doing really good in the class, I would always finish my work up really fast. I don't even know why my teacher didn't catch on to this. And I would always ask her, can I go to the library after I was done with my work? And she would let me every time. And so I would just like go to the library just to see him and just to be able to talk to him. And like at this point, like earlier on in this semester, he didn't know like that I liked him or anything. And so he was just like super nice and stuff. And I would just go there just to like look at him, you know, behind the bookshelf, be like, like not even like really trying to get a book. And I did that so many times of going to the library and just like trying to get a book. Like I was just like, this dude like captured my heart so much and just like broke it. We'll get into that. And and then there was my fake friends in middle school. I guess it's just regular petty middle school girl things to do. There was this one day where they're like, if you don't tell him that you like him, then I'm gonna tell him. And I was like, no, like don't tell him. There was more to the story, but this was honestly one of the most embarrassing things that have ever happened in my life. You remember I had 8th grade lunch, so we go out into the quad after we eat lunch and we hang out until we go to class. So I think it's like 8th period or something. And so one of my friends literally blurts out, Joy likes blah blah blah. Like I remember his whole name. This is how traumatizing this experience was. She literally says that out loud, and everyone is like looking at us and looking at me, and I'm like trying to hide behind my backpack, and I'm just like, what just happened? And it was a hard thing to live down because after that day, and I think this was in the middle of the semester. I don't even know, my birthday is in September. I don't even know if this was past September because I only went to Redder Middle School from the start of it until December of that same year. So I was only there for a semester. So all of this is happening in the first semester of my 7th grade year. And after that happened, I would have people every day come up to me and ask me, I heard you like Justin. Do you like Justin? And it got to the point where I was like, I'm not gonna even lie about it because it's pretty apparent and obvious. And everyone already knows because my fake friend blurted it out for the whole middle school to hear at lunch. And once my crush knew about this, his character totally switched towards me. I don't think he's a bad person, just so you know. I'm not mad at him. I don't like him like that anymore. I can obviously see like why he acted the way he did, because I know that I probably would be really creeped out if some guy was obsessed with me like that. So I totally understand. But he was really, not gonna lie, he was really mean to me after it happened, after he knew that I liked him, after he heard from my friends shouting it out, and after having all his friends come up to talk to him. And like I told you, he has a lot of girlfriends. You know how like girls chit chat and stuff. So he had people telling him all the time, oh yeah, there's this girl that's like really obsessed with you, that really likes you. And for some reason, I think at some point in time, I don't know if this was before he knew or after, I think it was after, I requested to be a friend of his on Facebook, because that back then, I don't really think people had Instagram. Most people in Texas in middle school were using Facebook, so that was like the Instagram of the time, was Facebook. And I really wanted to be able to talk to him through Facebook Messenger, you know, through messages and stuff. And he wouldn't accept my friend request. And my friend, who was really pretty, I was really ugly back then. I'm not gonna even lie. This is probably why like guys didn't like me. But my friend, who was really pretty, like people would always tell me like, oh, like he likes her or something, or she would tell me that like, I guess like he asked her out on a date or something. But he was doing it because he was trying to like, I guess, make me mad or jealous. And that's what really upset me, was that if I felt like he was using the situation just to like get at me, when I just genuinely like had a crush on him. And this story is so lame. We go through things to learn from them, don't we? And he wouldn't accept my friend request, and I'd always ask my friend, who was an 8th grader, the beautiful friend who had classes with him, I'd be like, why isn't he like answering my friend requests and stuff? And apparently, I guess he is friends with her on Facebook, and it was kind of messed up that he was asking my friend out or something, or that like she was like, I don't know, I don't remember what it was, but it was just like, it was really bad, because I was her friend, but I was the one who had a crush on him, and she knew. I didn't have real friends at this school, okay? Let's just put that there. And I knew all these facts about this guy. I did. Even though he was a grade above me and whatnot, I knew his favorite gum. So when Christmas was coming up, I had put this package together for him. Before that happened, when he found out that I had a crush on him, when I would go to the library, I still had the guts to go to the library, y'all. I still had the guts to go to the library and face this dude. And he was so mean to me. And you know what happened one time is, he was with his like friends, his group of girlfriends, and they were behind a bookshelf, and they knew that I was on the other side, and they were whispering, and they're like, yeah, like they were like talking about like his girlfriend and stuff, because people would always tell me that he has a girlfriend. I don't know if he had a girlfriend or not at the time, because I didn't see that. I didn't see them together, so I don't even know. I think it was just honestly a lie. And they were just like whispering behind the bookcase, like, oh yeah, like by your girlfriend, like, I don't know, I think they mentioned something to me like, oh, he has a girlfriend or whatever, and I was like, okay. Not that I was gonna try and steal him from her, but I just didn't like believe that. I just thought that they were just being catty and petty and mean to me, and I was just like really heartbroken, not gonna lie. And it made it really hard for me to like live during that semester, especially since everyone thought the world was gonna end, and just the fact of like the biggest crush I've ever had in my life is just like trying to like tear me apart. And eventually he accepted my friend request on Facebook, and I'm gonna show you some of these messages, but y'all, I cannot believe that I said this stuff. Okay, this is some of the cringiest stuff that I've ever texted anybody in my life, and I just, looking back now, I'm like, man, no wonder why nobody liked me growing up. It was so cringy. I'm gonna show you. I was saying stuff like, I looked at his page, like stalking his Facebook. I wasn't supposed to have Facebook at the time either. I actually downloaded Facebook behind my mom's back. Actually, no, I created a Facebook account, and I used it off my mom's phone when she didn't know, just to communicate with this boy. And I would say stuff like, oh, I saw you like the Bible. Like, what kind of pickup line is that? And what's it called? People would make fun of me about this. So December rolls around, and I'm pretty sure his birthday is in December, and so I got him a gift. I got him his like favorite gum and some other stuff. I don't even remember what I got, and I gave it to him. I literally had the guts to give this boy who was being mean to me because I had this really big crush on him. I gave him this gift despite everyone giving me dirty looks and despite everybody making fun of me for having this huge crush on him. He accepted it and thanked me. And I feel like there's so much that I'm forgetting about this story. And it's crazy how fast that this happened. And I didn't go to Rudder for the rest of the semester because I moved to California to live with my dad and my former stepmom. My dad won like custody battle, so that's why I didn't finish the semester. But not gonna lie, I was kind of tempted to stay in Texas just for this guy who didn't like me. Good thing I didn't. And after I left like that school, I literally tore every single page out of that composition book and I ripped it. I was thinking about burning it, but I was like, I don't know how that smart is since I'm like kind of bad with things like that. And I was like super depressed. You know, there was the first time in my life where I had got the courage to actually like reach out to a guy and not wait for them to reach out to me. I made the first move. I showed all the signs that I was interested. I kind of went overboard, but none of this would have happened if it wasn't for my friends ratting me out like that. So none of this would probably have happened at all if it wasn't for that, because I was too scared. But I made those moves and I was so discouraged and heartbroken, and I didn't even date this guy because I just felt like, man, like this rejection just stings. Like I just feel like so worthless. I feel so ugly and unwanted, and I cried like so much. And after that, I told myself, I'm not gonna like any guys. I am not going to date anyone. I'm not gonna do any of this for a while, for a few years, because I was like, I need to heal and I don't want to get heartbroken. Yeah, I got heartbroken at like 12, 13. And so I said that, and I told my parents that, and I don't know why, but my parents thought that meant that I was gay, that I was a lesbian. I was like, no, I just don't want to like guys and have them break my heart right now. But everybody in my family thought that I was saying I don't want to date guys anymore because I want to date women. I was just like, no, like that is not the case. So my family thought I was going lesbian, and I was like, no, that's not the case. And I didn't have a crush on a guy until my freshman year of high school. So I went like a year and a half without like liking any guys. just because I was just so fed up with guys at 13. I was like, all men are like this, or all boys are like this kind of attitude. And I think that was actually really good for me to really look back and learn. And I still, like, when I left Texas in the middle of 7th grade, I still thought about him some, and I still, like, missed him. I think I followed him on Instagram or something. And then I guess I unfollowed him, like, some point in high school when I was, like, completely over him. I'm like, ugh, whatever. And when I think it was, I don't know if it was, like, it was in the middle of high school when I wanted to, like, check up, and I wanted to see where this guy is at. And I saw that he's, like, a drag queen. He has, like, I think 11,000 followers on Instagram. And so I was, like, really interested. I was like, huh? He's a drag queen? So, and I was like, oh my gosh. You know, I don't know if he's really gay, but if you go to his Instagram, there's, like, no way he's straight. So I just, like, when I saw that, I was like, I would have never known. But looking back now, all the signs were there. I was obsessed over a guy that, like, would have never liked me because I am a woman, and that's not what he's into. And so that when I found this out years later, I felt so much better about myself. I was like, okay, maybe it's not just a me thing. Like, maybe he just, like, he was just trying to be mean to me because he didn't want to say stuff about him not liking women or stuff, or just that, like, he wanted me to stop liking him because he would have never liked me in the first place because of that. So years later, it made more sense, the way he dressed, the way he looked, and the way he acted, like, who his friends were. And so I felt better about myself. I was like, okay, I'm not just it's not just me. And so I was just so shocked that, like, I put all this love and effort and time into somebody who doesn't like women. I mean, he probably could have liked women at some point in time, but knowing that information now, I was just like, oh, okay. This doesn't mean he's a bad person. It doesn't. Obviously, people were just mean to me, and like I said, it's hard to deal with when someone's obsessed with you. So I guess the moral of the story is that don't obsess over anyone. And one thing that I learned from this is that I told myself that I'm never gonna make the first move on a guy again, because I know from growing up, and I learned from this story, that if a guy doesn't make the first move, it's typically because he's either shy or he doesn't like you enough. Because if a guy likes you enough, then he's gonna make the first move. He's gonna want to ask you out. He's gonna want to get to know you. And if he doesn't do those things, it's because he doesn't really care enough, or he doesn't really like you enough. And so, because of that experience, I just told myself, I was like, I'm not gonna make the first move anymore. Like I tried once and it failed. So I know you shouldn't have the attitude in life, but I was just like, honey, no, this ain't working out. So I was just like, in high school, I was just like, yeah, if I like a guy and he doesn't make a move and I show some hints, then I'm just not gonna make an effort, because I'm not gonna chase men who don't want me. Like, I already did that once. I don't want to experience that again. You know, I was so heartbroken that, like, it took a few years to really, like, overcome that from someone I didn't even date, you know? And I for those of you watching this, maybe for the younger crowd, is please don't obsess over anything, especially anyone, because not only is that bad for you, it makes the other person feel uncomfortable, and it just doesn't work out, because no relationship truly works out is healthy or normal if you are obsessive compulsive over that person. And it was really unhealthy for me to do that, because, you know, my thoughts day in and day out, I would wake up thinking about this dude, I would go to bed thinking about this dude, and it really, like, made me not focus on school. You know, I did well in school, but I feel like I could have learned so much more if I didn't waste all my energy, time, and money on this person who didn't love me back. So yeah, if there's somebody that you feel like you're constantly chasing, honey, if this person ain't pursuing you with the same energy or loving you with the same energy, then you gotta drop them or confront them or both, you know, because it is not fair to you to feel that type of way. So yeah, I'm really traditional in this sense too, that I think men should approach women, just because I know that that's, if a man really is interested, he's gonna approach you. And I tried it and it did not work. So yeah, I have no hard feelings against him. I hope he's doing well. But yeah, ladies and gentlemen, that is the first time I was ever in love, so to speak, or obsessed. Oh, here's the other thing too. Because I was so young and I didn't have the concept of what love was because I was young, you know, I was really liking him for not the good reasons. You know, there's superficial things that like little kids like each other for, but if this were to happen now, it would just not be good. Because I didn't really know him that well as a person. I thought he was A, attractive, and that's what attracted me to him, but B, I was liking him because of superficial things, because of like he dresses nice or he has a lot of money because he looked rich. Oh my gosh, that sounds bad. Or because he was popular or because he was smart. You know, those aren't necessarily bad things, but like I thought that I was in love with him, but I really wasn't. I just was like in love with the idea of him, and I thought he was like the perfect dude. And there's a reason why I never dated him, and there's a reason God never answered my prayers about that, because this person was never meant for me, and I was never meant for them. But, you know, I'm a firm believer that you go through things to learn things, to experience things. So, yeah. That is the story. Oh my gosh. Lesson learned.